Okay. I just want to say a few things like, the moment when I had started, thought like I want to switch from teaching, the most common stuff, like you want to go back to the corporate. It's most, the normal behavior of the teacher. So what happened is like, I had taken an interview and where my teaching experience has enabled me to get into the company, IT company, as the learning and development executive. So basically my role is to train freshers who join an organization and used to give a 6 month of training to them, right? So during the time of the training, what happens? During the time of my training, I had 2 months of training. So it's all about adult learning. They have given a lot of content for me to read it. Trust me, I'm sorry to say this, but I must have to tell this. The 2 months of learning, whatever I have did, that I wouldn't have done in my entire teaching career. Because there are a lot of concepts, there are a lot of pedagogy, a lot of methods I was not aware as a teacher, but the moment when I get into the corporate as a learning and development, I could able to relate it. So for example, there is a concept called early learning. To be frank, now I know some extent, but during that time I don't know what is your mean by early learning. I was not aware of it. There are different methods. There are a lot of methods of a training or a learning I was not aware. So quickly, let's get into this and we'll relate that. How does learning and development works in a corporate, where we can align that into our teachings. The first most important aspect is like for any learning is you need to identify the need. That is called training need identification. The question comes like, why the learning or why employees need training? Why they need to learn? So how do we identify the need for the learning in a corporate? So how do we do that? Now, we will understand as a learning and development executive, I come across that there is a need for the training, there is a need for the learning based on organization goals and workforce skills. As the trend change, as the market getting changed, we come across that these are the needs are lacking within our employees, we need to brush up. It could be upscale or upskill. Or it could be the normal compliances learning. Sometimes the skill gaps are identified using like competency mapping, employee feedback and performance review. For example, we map the competence. What is competence? For example, if I am into IC3, that is, we have a different level, IC1, IC2, IC3. In other words, assistant professor, associate professor, professor. IC1 refers to, my role is IC1, but am I behaving like IC1? What are the lacks in me? For example, assistant professor. As an assistant professor, I should have these other certification. As an assistant professor, I should have these other skills. And if I move to associate professor, what are the requirements? So there is competency mapping. Instead, we do that for an employees. Then we have employee feedback. The feedback from peer, the feedback from manager, the feedback from client, the feedback from users. We collect the feedback from all the way and we identify the loop or a problem in that and we design a training model. The most important one is the performance reviews. We do a performance review. If there is a lack, then it will need for the training. Then, what are the tools we use? The most common tool is skill gap analysis. Are we doing this in our teaching? What are the skills that are lacking? What is supposed to be and what they have? What there is a gap? Why there is a gap? How do we fill this gap? Is most important aspect. Trust me, in any company, exactly pin to pin with the proper concept and theory, we are implementing it. Skill gap analysis videos. 360 degree feedback we take, performance data, and the most important, we have a HR dashboard. For example, LMS, learning management system we have, right? In that we will come across that how many are failed. For example, let's take it because everyone has done a Coursera courses or Udemy courses, digital courses, right? Sometimes what happens that after the course we have a learning in areas for assessment. How many are failed in the assessment? Why do they fail in assessment? How many times they have retook the assessment? Every details we come across that. There also we come across that these are the problems. So it's more important for any learning or a learner when you are executing it, identify the gap. What is the need for the training or a learning? As a teacher, I should identify it. Why? What is the lack in my students? What they have to learn? Why they have to learn? Having answer for this is most important aspect. So, as a teacher, as a curriculum, as an academician, the curriculum must begin with industry relevant skill mapping, not outdated academic priorities. So, updating syllabus, integrating with an industry, it is most important aspect. I am very sorry to say this. It's fact to some extent. We should teach what exactly the market wants. It's not like what have been done. Please align this. And when it comes to company, the learning need identification happens in the phase 1. The phase 2 is designing the learning strategy. So lab teams choose learning formats. Okay, we identify that these are the learning is needed for an employee. Fine. Then we need to design it. How do we do that? Is it micro learning, or is it cohort based, or is it on the job, or is it off the job? That we need to identify. And in this process, we need to identify the objective of the learning. Why the learning is required? What is the main motto of the learning? What does the success looks like? For example, after going for this course, the learner able to design his own curriculum. That is my objective. After going for all this typing, the test, the typing speed of a learner has to be this much. That is my objective. So defining objective, what success looks like, is most important aspects. Then we need to select the delivery methods. Either it could be LMS, either it could be workshop, simulation, gamification, depends upon the organization. Trust me, I always ask this question for myself. We are doing adult learning. I hope everyone knows about this basic concept of adult learning. So adult learning says that when you train an adult, there are certain philosophies we need to maintain. But my question is like, a person who is in a second year of masters, any degree for the concern, March may he will be a student, or June may he will become an employee. How does the concept of adult learning varies in 2 months? Why not? Let's do this. Whoever is doing a master's, let's consider them as an adult. Don't go for a one-to-one always. Let's consider them as an adult. Let's consider them as an employee. The future employee, please use a philosophy of adult learning. Let them go for a micro learning. Let them go for a lot of certification, courses, online. Let them go for the self-paced learning. Why do we have to spoon feed them at this stage? You can go to the Google and please go for the adult learning philosophies or adult learning principles. Please learn, and those we are teaching for masters, please implement that. And the next aspect over here is like we have a lot of tools to design the learning strategy. We have ADDIE models. I hope instructional design we are designing the curriculum over here. So we use ADDIE models. What is ADDIE model speaks about? A stands for analyze, D stands for design, the other D stands for develop, I stand for implement, E stands for evaluate. So how beautiful it is. First you analyze, then you design, then you develop, then you implement. It's not enough, you have to evaluate as well. So any curriculum, whatever we do, we have to follow the ADDIE model. Or it could be any other model. Right? In teaching, we normally go for a Bloom's taxonomy for outcomes. We have 6 phases and everything, we implement that, right? So that's how we are designing the curriculums. Then we need to use the learning management systems. It could be Moodle, the talent LMS, Docebo, we have a Leapsome, we have Articulate, we have Abara, it could be anything. Right? We choose the platforms. Then the most important aspect is like development and content creations. Now the question comes over here that who is developing the curriculum? Right? So now the most important aspect I always expect in most of the institutions it's happening. Whenever the academically we are developing any the curriculum, it has to be make sure that we take into consideration of the industry side also. It's more important aspect. Now when it comes to incorporate, how do we do that? The content is created or curated based on the strategy. Creation normally done by the L&D. Curation is normally done by their managers, or it could be their super managers who are in the particular field. Then internal SMEs nothing but subject matter experts, or external vendors create content that align with roles, technology and behavioral needs. For example, if I am a talent success head, okay, and I want to hire one recruiter, what should be his or her skills, qualification, attitude, behavior in which he has to be mastered? I need to write a script. I need to give it to learning and development executive. And together we are creating the curriculum. It goes like this. Why that method? Why that material? The relevance, philosophy, method, everything we give importance. Then we use a different format. It could be videos, podcasts, e-learning models, simulations, video, a nudged pathway, or any other. So basically it is the content creations. Let learners learn the way they live. It could be bit size, visual, or it could be personalized. Now, in most of the companies, learning goes in a personalized. Based on my interest, based on my preference, based on my track, I have to choose a learning path. For example, I have started my career as a software developer, then I am thinking like, no, I need to go for a testing. Fine. After a certain time, I can go for the different learning path and I can get certifications. It is based on how user want. Why not? We allow the same thing for our curriculum. You need to do one certification in Coursera, you need to do one certification in Udemy. In this matter, give access to them. So, it's more important aspects over here, giving personalized learning to the students. The phase 4 is delivery of learning. Obviously, it is nothing but the training things are happening. Learner assess training through digital platform, workshop or a blended modes. Peer learning, mentor guided learning and role playings are included. It could be cohort, micro learning, just-in-time learning. Have you heard about just-in-time learning? What is just-in-time learning? We have come across this concept called just-in-time costing somewhere. Correct, right? So just-in-time learning refers to as and when the learner wants to learn, the content has to be available. Like a wikis. I search this, automatically a course will come, quickly I'll brush up and then go to that. How does it work? I'll tell you. I am taking an interview for a PIP or a performance review. I want to know what are the philosophies are there, what are the policies are there. Just search it, I'll get a learning, I'll read the 30 minutes or 10 minutes learning, I'll get a content, I'll go through it. It's called just in time. And the next one is teachers should act like a facilitator, not content provider. The classroom is no longer the only stage. The one thing where the corporate is giving a lot of emphasis where the teaching is not is the reinforcement. The learning, reinforcement and applications. So learning is embedded in real job context. Learners get on the job project, nudges or coaching and make sure that academic assessment must go beyond memory recall to include real life scenario based applications. Ensure that whatever the learning is happened, we are assessing it, we are reinforcing, and we are aligning them into the practical as well as the real world application, which is very essential in this. The next, the most important phase, the phase 6, the measurement and feedback. See, ultimate objective of any learning to ensure that the learner understood everything and it should be reflected. So, success is evaluated using, I can practice 4 levels. That reaction. Did they like it? Did they enjoy learning? Whether our students are enjoying learning, that also depends upon, correct, the effectiveness of the teaching or any academics, right? The second one is like, did they learn it? It's not about only a score. Does it really, made an impact on the student? Can I reflect in their behavior? Did they apply it in real world? As well as, did it improve our business? We measure these 4 in an employee. As a learning and development executive, for me, these 4 things are more important. For example, learning is not only to make a certification. Sometimes the learning has to reflect in behavior also, in attitude also. For example, you take a tester. The software tester, his basic duty is to identify the bug. The dedication, the learning, the way he expertise, we can see in his behavior. The commitment we can see it. And if the employee is not aligning with the company's objective, then there is a need for the learning. For example, let's take because I am a teacher. Okay? If I am not putting effort on my learning, if I am a fixed mindset, something is wrong with me. I need to act, I need to behave, I need to be a good teacher, because we all called as a knowledge workers. For us, the foundation is the knowledge. Correct? So our behavior, our attitude, the way we give a content, it all depends, and there exists the need. So basic thing is like, as a learning and development executive, for us these 4 elements are the most important aspect. And we use feedback forms, analytics, learning dashboard, and managers' observations. Teaching success isn't just about grades, it's about transformation and readiness for the next step. Now, as I mentioned that, so right, the learning and development identifies learning needs based on the business goals, performance gaps. So we compare the current performance with the expected performance, what is supposed to be and what exactly it is. And we use KPIs. Have you come across with this word KPI? Key Performance Indicators. For example, an employee, what he was supposed to be completed or supposed to be executed, and what exactly is executed. So there's a difference. His KPI is to rise 30 leads in a month. He is able to rise only 10 leads in a month. So he is not able to meet his KPI. So there exists a need for the learning. Right? So please ensure that you give some sort of KPIs for the student in each semester. And align that. The first semester, this is your KPI. Second semester, you should know about this. Third, it is that. And the fourth semester should be, right? And periodically they need to assess. If it is not, then there is just a gap. Then employee feedback and self-assessment. We use surveys, feedback, self-evaluations. Then sometimes the manager observation also. So supervisor report, team skill gaps, inefficiency and behavioral issues also leads to a training. Then we go for industry trends and benchmarking. Also we go for the learning analytics, and most of the times we come to know that there is a need for the learning with the help of talent mobility and exit interviews. Quickly, I will not talk anything about this in depth for sure. Onboarding learning, I hope everyone is aware of the moment when the employee gets into it. Technical and hard skill learning is depends upon the market. Soft skill and behavioral learning also now has been given a lot of importance. Compliance and mandatory training is based on the compliances. Most important is upskilling. This word is most important for us. What is upskilling? Upskilling. See, understand, we need to upskill ourselves in our own domain, adding for the advanced learning. Please master it. You might be MBA in HR or whatever it is HR. That HR is different now. What is happening in the market is different. Please upskill. Things have changed. If you don't upskill, we are not giving justice to the students. Obviously, we will be outdated. So, most important aspect, we need to understand this. For example, this is the problem. What happens for us? Like, I always say this. Like, we cannot take the different directions. For example, if my specialization is HR, please, I love to take classes or courses for HR only, right? So that I can give a justice. Take one or two fields and make master in yourself in that particular field is most important aspect. So upskilling is very essential for teachers and even for any corporate. I'm telling you, you just observe all the software engineers. They never say no to the certification. They never say no to the learning. Saturdays, Sundays, they go to the office and they learn. Why? If they don't upskill, they become outdated. Please, we all are knowledge workers. For us, knowledge is a foundation. So upskilling is very essential. The second most concept is reskilling. What is reskilling? Refreshing. That is upskilling similar. Reskilling refers to, for example, if I am a admin and tomorrow I am taking care of the job of the recruiter, then I need to go for the reskilling. The skill has to be added for me. In your own domain, reskilling. This again is most important aspects. Reskilling. The seventh one is my favorite. Unlearning. See, I'll tell you something. You take an example of pen drive. So pen drive may be having a 8 GB. You cannot load 9 GB. Sometimes if you add something new, you have to delete the old one. See, I will say that, most of the times, this is a debate, I'm sorry. Sometimes we say that, I see some students to them. In our time it was not like this. But the time is gone. For example, I have been brought up, I have been taught in such a way that supervising is more important. If you give a freedom, they will do a mistake. Come on. Nowadays, the management skills are different. You have to give some sort of freedom to employees and they will do the work. The way the things used to happen, the way the things are happening is different. So old thought, outdated thought, whatever we have, please unlearn it. We have been taught, AI kills everything, don't use ChatGPT, don't use ChatGPT, please. Gone. Still remember 1986, I don't remember the exact dates. When the calculator comes, everyone started protesting, it seems, all the mathematics and everything. Calculators will remove our jobs, that, this and everything. Why? All the calculation is not required, no. But what happens? Anyone? Still calculators will be using, right? Does it hurt anybody? No, right? Similar thing for AI. My point is not about AI over here. It's more important aspect for you to unlearn. I'll tell you, what if the unlearn things are not happening already? Suppose if I go for teaching to corporate, okay, the first thing what happens, whatever the policies of teaching, I will show it in the corporate. You should not do this, you should not wear this, you should not, no, that's gone, it's a corporate. Unlearn whatever you had in your mind, remove it. Come with the new thought, but exactly the reality. There was one particular concept, in my company, the last company, I always thankful to my CEO because he used to spend a lot of money for the learning. So we have a Gartner documents. Gartner is like, I can say that it's like a Bible for the company. So whatever it is, there is something like that we believe, like a holy book. There's one particular aspects, and we pay a lot of amount for that particular source. So what happened? We are supposed to implement community of practices in the organization. So my CEO told that please read everything and let's have a discussions. I read everything. I was reading. I was telling my CEO this is mentioned. He told only one thing. See, I don't want your version of Agile. I want the author version of Agile. Let's read together. Let's brainstorm together. Let's understand why the author has mentioned like this. Some extent, what happens whenever we read, we assume our old thought will come, old concept will align. We perceive it could be like this. Don't do that. So, one request for everybody, periodically, let's unlearn lot of outdated content from our brain. Unlearning is most important whenever you handle Gen Z. Because their thought, perceptions are updated, so we should align with them. Anyhow, next one is the lifelong learning. I don't want to talk about that. Just-in-time learning, I be all aware of this. These are the types of the learning we do. And even peer learning and community of practices. See, in companies, every Saturday, or it could be Saturday in my organization, most of the organizations, we have a community of practice. One person has to take a session. Whatever you learn, he has to share with his team members. How beautiful it is, right? So, some extent in teaching also, we should do it, right? Knowledge sharing, why not? Let's share our knowledge with somebody else. We have to grow along with everybody. If I got this information, I know to use AI, this AI is very good. Please, let's share this with everybody. That's how the growth happens. Let's share this with the students. Let's share with everybody. Trust me, knowledge hiding is one of the biggest threat for any organization. Organization where the knowledge is not flowing properly, that's the biggest threat. That's the reason nowadays companies are hiring dedicated knowledge management practitioners. KM practitioners. If you go to UK, you go for good companies, we have KM practitioners. Even in corporates are hiring KM practitioners. That's why my PhD topic is on knowledge management. By thinking that my future is this. So, just imagine we come to an extent to manage a knowledge, we are hiring a person. Right? So, it's more important that peer learning and community of practices and experiential learning, that is live projects, job rotations, simulations and hackathons. There's also one way of learning happens over the organizations. I don't want to talk about these principles, but I just want to brush up few aspects quickly. So we have a different types of learning. I just want 10 minutes of all of your attentions because I find it quite interesting. Now, before, everywhere we used to follow T-shaped learning. Okay? You can see the horizontal line as well as the vertical. So, in the horizontal line, right? So you can see there, like the breadth of knowledge, depth of expertise, the deep knowledge in one area. Okay? And the breadth of knowledge, that is the versatility across multiple disciplines. So, this line is all about, we call it as a Fdp skill. Your soft skills, it could be communication, collaborations, team building, that is we are talking about this. See, communication, leadership, problem solving, cross-functional collaboration. This skill is that. This line is all about your specialization. For example, if I am a software engineer, for example, front end, this line is my expertise on front end, and this is all about my Fdp skill. It could be communication, leadership, problem solving, or cross-functional collaboration. So we used to maintain T-shaped learning in 3-4 years back. Are you with me? MBA in HR. HR is your specialization. Other skills you used to have. I'm a developer. One more guy is a backend. One more guy is a tester. Specialization. Okay. So during COVID, like 2017-18 and all, we used to have T-shaped learning and we used to follow the corporate. But now it becomes advanced like pie-shaped learning. What is pie-shaped learning over here? The top line is all about the same. Collaboration, leadership, everything. But we want employee to have a dual specialization. So what happened? The moment when I was working for a company, we implemented pie-shaped learning. That was to Software engineer front end should also know back end. The HR should also do the role of one more. It could be training. So what happened? Cost savings happened. Learning is also happening. Nowadays, the pie-shaped learning is in demand. We don't want a person to have one specialization. Dual specialization is required. I left the company when the pie-shaped concept was there. Surprisingly, after AI, we are going for comb-shaped learning. What is comb-shaped learning? Again, broad knowledge, peripheral skills similar. We want expertise in different fields. So now what happened? I'll tell you. Initially, we had mobile developer, software developer, front end, back end. Now it's not like that. The person, we call them as a software developer. You should know to develop the mobile application, web application. You should also do front end, back end. We expect that in human being. Why? AI is there. Why not? Don't think like we put all the work on you. We give the project, we give a time span, but we expect this in you. I should know recruitment, I should know training, I should know operational, everything. This is what expected by my company. Before it was not like, I'm a recruiter, I will not do training. I will not do L&D. Not now. You are a HR, do this. And I should have this knowledge. If not, outdated. So, the transformation of I shape, it has become to T shape, it has become to pie shape, now it is a comb shape. This is in reality the companies are adopting. Where do we stand? You might have heard about interdisciplinary. That's what we are called about. You cannot say that my area is this, I will not take up that. No. Still I say that I was MCom with HR specialization. I used to say, no, mine is HR. I will not take accounts. Come on. You come under MCom only, no? So anymore I cannot. So trust me, all the roles are merging. The expectations are changing. And companies are clubbing the task, and we expect multiple specialization in employees. Now I'll just ask you a few questions. Correct me if I'm wrong, or you tell me. I did science in second PUC. Okay, and after that I went for engineering. Okay, then I did MBA in finance. Whom I am? Am I MBA or am I engineer? Or what is my specialization? Finance? Okay. Can I call myself as engineer? Yeah, I always think like, just because I did masters, I mean MBA in finance, my base is, who am I? Like, what do we call, can I call myself as engineer? Can I call myself as like, no, I'm MBA actually. I can answer for this, but it's happening in reality, right? Right? Lot of data analysis. Still, the base is from commerce, that and everything, but they come over there. Some extent I feel anymore the qualification is secondary. The skill as well as the certificate. Skills are, some extent has become so more important. Because this is what's happening everywhere. I have a lot of people who are doing a master's with a base in something else. Think about it, right? But trust me, I don't know how much you understood this, because we have I take a lot of months in all these depth concepts. There is also called M-shaped learning. There is a multiple. There is also helicopter-shaped learning is there. Helicopter, right? So there is a lot of concepts are there, and based on this, the roles are getting changed. Their expectations are getting changed. Some makes it we need to align. So don't be very choosy and very reserved when it comes to specialization. Anymore, HR, my career is HR, no. Please add more and more. Please align. For example, HR is a vast. It could be knowledge management is also HR, learning is also HR, talent success is also HR, recruitment is also HR. Many things are there. But we are making like, no, I'm only recruitment. I'm role into L&D. No, it will not work. Things are getting changed. I'm going to give you one more example. If anybody technical, teachers like who are computer science or something like that, if you are there, it's good. For example, we have a exam called AWS, Amazon Web Services exams, that is certification. Basically, we used to do it for our company. So what happened? AWS has a different badges. Okay. So first one is called a CCP, the basic badges. So what my sir told, my company told, like, okay, whoever is joining our organization must have a CCP certification. We all questioned it, sir, I am not from engineering, I am from MPD. How do I understand AWS? But certificate clearly mentioned that it is for non-technical personnel. So our fixed mindset has made a lot of people not to clear that certification. But if you go to any other country, even the BCom or any other graduates is able to clear AWS, though it is a technical, but it's all about cloud, which becomes a normal for everyone to understand. So my point over here is like, no more barriers. I'm in this field, I cannot learn that, I cannot learn this anymore, nothing like that. So don't restrict yourself in learning. So basically, T-shaped me, that we can discuss some other time. So the last thing, what we need to adopt. This is my last slide. We have discussed about expectation, how does the company works. As a teacher, what we are supposed to adopt. So become lifelong learner themselves. We need to always open for the learning. So the two ways, I will contribute to the organization, meanwhile I will contribute to myself. How my career path has to move after 5 years. Where do I want to see myself after 5 years? I'm a knowledge worker basically. For me, my foundation is a knowledge. If I don't update my knowledge, I will become audited. Somebody is going to replace me like this. So keep updating ourselves. Go for the lifelong learning, which is very essential in the today's world. And also adopt industry-aligned teaching method. It has to be. The traditional method of teaching has to go, and we should understand. And some extent, I feel like if I update myself, I am giving justice to my students. There are a lot of opportunities, a lot of things are there. Let me understand first. For example, if I want to teach you logistics, I should know about logistics in depth. What are the job opportunity? What are the certification? To be frank, recently one of the resource person has come to our college, and I was a placement manager, so I have to interact with me in 30 minutes. He told that in logistics there are a lot of certification, 12 exams, how it will lead to career to my work. I said, it's glad that you come here to interact with the students. So, some extent, when you interact with an industry, we can able to reach our students. So, aligning industry with academics is very important. Facilitate experiential learning, as I mentioned. Please encourage students to go for capstone project. Please encourage students to go for internship. Please do a lot of case studies. And a lot of companies want students to take up the projects, brainstorming, and we need to encourage that. Personalized learning path. Everybody should have their personalized learning path. For example, every student cannot be too good. So understanding the capability of the student and inculcating or creating a learning path for the student is most important aspects. I understand we have a lack of time and everything for that, but giving or delivering the personalized learning, the personalized teaching is very essential. As I mentioned, soft skill daily, please. No matter what is the marks, no matter what is the application. Have you seen one post which I saw recently in LinkedIn? One lady, woman who has a 6th certification in degree, she couldn't able to clear any interviews. She has topper and everything, and she didn't able to clear any interviews. Why? Soft skills lacking. Think. We are coming to the basics. whenever leadership, communication is to laugh. How many slides? Same slide. Now it is true. And I'm telling you that communication will be a much worse in the future because people are depending on AI. From letter writing format, 10 marks in my school. But, correct? So think about it like, but brushing up the soft skill, again, very essential. Use technology creatively, design outcome-based assessment, and build industry connections for you as well as for your students. If I say that why students are not able to get placed, I'm not saying that it's the teachers, definitely it is not. Some extent, they don't know what you're supposed to, equip with. Some extent we need to guide them out. Right? So, having this, also as I mentioned, promote research that solves problems and role model feature ready activities. I think the 10 minutes I kept here. So by this, I would like to conclude only one thing here. So let's, in this VUCA world, we use EK. We stand for volatility, U stand for uncertainty, C stand for complexity, A stand for ambiguity. Nothing is permanent, everything goes on changing. I'm repeating this word again, I love this sentence. We all are knowledge workers. So we need to update ourselves and we need to tell. And the technology world, AI is there. So let's not compete, we cannot compete, but we have to collaborate. And I'm telling you, the designation, the role, what we have now, financial analyst, whatever it is gone. After 5 years, you can see entirely different. Understanding this is most important. For industry-ready materials, okay, very simple stuff. Yeah, everybody having Srinivas University or respective college, EDU, the domain email ID. Please go to Gartner, www.gartner.com. Gartner, Gartner. Okay, and any field you, logistic and supply chain management you do, they will give a free content, research content to you. Trust me, which is globally recognized. If it is mentioned the Gartner, it is having substandard. We say scope of stuff it is. Similar thing is for the Gartner. So make sure that you will get industry-ready materials in that. It will be very helpful for us to reach our students. So by this, I would like to conclude the 1.5 or 2 hours of the sessions here, and I would like to thank all the university members, especially Shailashri ma'am as well as Nikshita ma'am and Sharmila ma'am and Chitra ma'am and Sagar sir and my student Prakriti and all of you for being a wonderful audience, so that I can share a little knowledge whatever I had with you. So now the next 5 minutes, if I have any questions where I could able to answer, so I have any questions, please ask. So basically, I have little experience regarding the corporate where I can connect with you all.
What challenges you face from corporate to teaching?
When we switch, see when I switch from teaching to corporate, I faced one challenge because my mentor is to say that okay, you want to go to the corporate. One thing you have to understand that all your ego and everything you give down and go, because in corporate what happens tomorrow, the younger one may be my manager. Understand? The thing in the teaching we have all these stereotype thoughts that has to go down. That's the one thing I need to adopt. I need to be like update myself and everything. That was a big challenge. But when from corporate to teaching, when I come back, I found the major changes in the process. For example, in companies, what happens that everything is like a professional. Everything has an etiquette, and for everything you have a purpose. Sometimes what happens, the things what we do here, other than the teaching and everything, certain things I feel like what is for me, what I'm going to get it from me. Right? And in corporate you find the purpose. I'm doing this because this is what is happening. I'm talking to a client. I'm talking to IBM. I'm talking to Capgemini. That level, I need to master myself. Right? But in teaching, I feel the teaching always depends upon the kind of students you get. The students will come with a lot of enthusiasm, you will love it. Correct? It's all about that. Right? So when it comes to learning, the both the side it is there, and it's more of a passion. And the most important thing, the flexibility what we get in teaching, we will definitely not get in corporate. Right? And here the platform what we get for learning and everything, I can go for FDP. I can go for any other college level. There I have to take a leave and do. So it's all about the two different paths, what you want to be based on. Right? So do both the things. That is the reason now I kept a leg in both the way. If I want to come here as a corporate, yes, I'm a trainer. Teacher, I'm a teacher also. So when the college gives me a placement manager, I was like, I want to take it up. Why? I want to have a connection with the companies. So it's very clear. And maybe, after completing my PhD, yes, I have very clarity what I really want to do. My PhD, why I have taken in knowledge management, the same reason that there is a huge demand for a knowledge management practitioners. I want to be that one. So aligning everything is more important. Yes. Other questions? Fine? No questions? So thank you all for all of your patience listening.
What an incredible session, Professor Sajan. Your insights on integrating industry practice and research into curriculum design have truly illuminated our path forward. You have shown us how to build a bridge between academia and real world, empowering us for success. Thank you for that powerful session.
Now, as a small token of our immense gratitude for sharing your invaluable expertise, we would be honored to present you with this memento. Now I request Professor Srinivas Shetty, HOD, Institute of Management and Commerce, to kindly present a token of gratitude to Professor Sajan M as a mark of our appreciation. Thank you, ma'am. And with that, we concluded day 2 of our faculty development program, blending research and practices enhancing quality teaching in the modern classroom. Get ready for an even more insightful day 3 tomorrow. Thank you everyone, have a wonderful day, and we will see you bright and early. Signing off as host of FDP program, Professor Rakshita and
Professor Hansel Rego, so stay tuned for tomorrow, that is the FTP Day 3. We have sent to the participants the feedback form through your Google Meet link. Kindly check it out. Thank you.